Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Now in this one, I'm going to be discussing as well as showcasing the ultimate best class setup for the M1928 Thompson submachine gun here in Call of Duty Vanguard. So of course guys, welcome back to another Vanguard video. Now if you guys weren't already aware, I'm actually going to be doing a weapon guide in this video, as I'm not just going to be showcasing a class setup then showcasing a simple gameplay afterwards, as in this video at the start I am going to be discussing the M1928, its attributes, how it plays and all kinds of things like that. Then I will be segueing into the actual class setup, and then finally I'm going to be talking about a couple things that you should know while you're using this particular weapon, as well as discussing the class setup a little bit. So with all that said, if you guys go on to enjoy today's video at any given point in time, make sure you leave a like on it down below, as well as subscribe and turn on post notifications, so that way you guys will not miss any of the latest and greatest Call of Duty news, class setups, intel, and so much more. So without further ado, now that I got the intro out of the way, let's dive right into it. And alright, so the M1928 or the Thompson or the Tommy gun is honestly a legendary weapon here in Call of Duty Vanguard. It's extremely powerful, especially when you have the right class setup for it. And if you guys are still using the MP40 about 2 weeks into Vanguard itself and you haven't checked out the M1928, you're doing yourself a disservice, so make sure you go ahead and check it out. And with that said, let's actually talk a little bit about attributes. Interestingly enough, the M1928 is a very versatile submachine gun, which, because of the gunsmith and how the attachments work in this game, you can really play however you want and make a class setup for this weapon to suit whatever playstyle you want. For instance, if you put on the right attachments, you can really bump up the fire rate and turn this thing into pretty much a hose of a submachine gun with absolutely no range, but a crazy fast fire rate and a very fast time to kill at point blank range. Additionally, you can put on different attachments, put a very long barrel on it, as well as put either the 8mm or 9mm, and pretty much turn this thing into an assault rifle, absolutely lasering opponents at extreme long ranges. However, what I did with this particular class setup is I took a bit of both, being that with this class setup, you can perform extremely well at medium to longer ranges and pretty much ranges where an assault rifle would typically dominate. However, since this is a submachine gun and the right attachments I put on it, you can also perform extremely well at close range, and you are going to be seeing that throughout the gameplay, as some gameplays I'm on shipment and I'm absolutely destroying opponents using the Thompson. However, on other gameplays I'm playing something like Dome, where I'm taking out opponents at medium to longer ranges. So without a doubt, the versatility of this weapon really makes it stand out to me, and that's how come I really enjoy using it. And actually, on a side note, the M1928 Thompson was actually the first ever submachine gun and heck, first ever weapon in Vanguard that I unlocked gold, and that's how come once I actually finish the class setup portion of this video, I'm going to be showcasing the gameplay of me unlocking gold on this weapon, so that way you guys can check that out. And with all that being said, now that I discussed the M1928 and how you can use it and how it performs, let's actually break down the class setup a little bit. So with that in mind, as you guys can see, the class setup is on your screen right now, and let's actually break it down. So of course, my primary weapon, I will be using the M1928. Nothing too crazy. However, a little bit later when there are blueprints for this weapon, if you want to use a blueprint for it, feel free to go ahead and do so. With that in mind, for my secondary weapon, I will be using the M1911, and then moving on down for my perk setup, I will be using Ghost, Radar, as well as Scavenger. With that all in mind, for my lethal, I will be using the standard MK2 frag grenade. However, if you would like to swap this out for a throwing knife or a Molotov cocktail or whatever it may be, feel free to go ahead and do so. And with that in mind, for my tactical, I will be using the stim shot, because without a doubt in my mind, the stim shot is the absolute best tactical equipment in this game. So with that in mind, now let's actually break down these attachments a little bit. So I will be talking about them briefly and then actually going in depth with them. So first and foremost, I will be using the M1929 silencer, the CGC 12-inch cooling barrel, the slate reflector, the Ragdoll T2 support stock, the SMLE pistol grip, the .45 ACP 100 round drum magazine, the lengthened ammo type, the fabric grip, sleight of hand, as well as fully loaded. So with that in mind, now let's actually unpack this a little bit. So of course, the M1929 silencer will be increasing the sound suppression as well as accuracy, which is extremely useful on this particular submachine gun. Now, I've tried out a multitude of different muzzles, and honestly, I like the silencer because for one, it increases the sound suppression, which is extremely useful in Vanguard, as well as it will also be increasing the accuracy, and the only negative downside is it will be reducing the aim down sight speed. However, I can correct that with other attachments I will be using. With that in mind, talking about the barrel, I will be using the CGC 12-inch cooling, and of course, as the description states, it says highly accurate and controllable, as well as it reduces the scope sway and gun bob, which is very useful because I've tried out a couple of different barrels on this particular weapon, and a lot of the barrels are good if you want to increase the fire rate significantly. However, what this particular barrel does is it makes the weapon a lot more accurate as well as controllable, overall allowing for it to be a lot more effective at those medium to longer range engagements. With that in mind, for my next attachment, I will be using the slate reflector, and that's just because it in my own opinion, this is the absolute best optic in Call of Duty Vanguard. It's very clean, it's very easy to use, and it honestly reminds me of the old ELO sight that we saw back in Black Ops 3. So that's how come I will be using it as my optic on this particular class setup, and that actually moves us over to the next attachment, and that's of course the Ragdoll T2 support, which will be increasing the recoil control, the accuracy, the recoil recovery, as well as the flinch resistance. Pretty much all good things. So with that in mind, of course, all of this stuff is primarily affecting the recoil control and accuracy, which in similar fashion to the barrel makes this weapon a lot more effective at longer range. And the only downsides are the movement speed, aim down sight speed, as well as sprint to fire speed, which I can correct with some of the other attachments I will be using, very similar to what I mentioned about the barrel. And this actually moves us over to talking about the underbarrel, in which I will be using the SMLE pistol grip, which will be increasing the sprint to fire speed by 2, as well as the hip fire accuracy by 1. Of course, for my magazine, I will be using the .45 ACP 100 round drum magazine. So that's kind of a mouthful, but of course, the .45 ACP is actually a larger round than the standard round that the Thompson fires. So that means with the 45 ACP, you are going to be packing more of a punch when using this weapon. And if you couple that with the 100 round drum magazine, you can pretty much go on a 10 kill streak without having to reload, which is absolutely incredible. And that's how I really like using this particular attachment. So now that we got the magazine type out of the way, let's actually talk about the ammo type, in which I will be using lengthened, which will be simply increasing the bullet velocity by 3, meaning that almost instantly after you shoot a bullet, it's going to be hitting the opponent, which is extremely satisfying and very good. So with that in mind, moving on over to my next attachment, I will be using the fabric grip, which will be increasing the aim down sight speed by 1, the sprint to fire speed by 1, as well as the hip fire recoil recovery by 1. And of course, for my proficiency, I will be using sleight of hand, because naturally, if you have a 100 round magazine, it means that your reloads are going to be pretty slow. So that's how come we are going to be using sleight of hand, which of course will be increasing the reload quickness. And I'm also going to be using fully loaded, so that way you don't have to worry about running out of ammunition. However, if you want to pick another kit, feel free to go ahead and do so. For instance, if you're trying to level up, you might want to use something like surplus that actually gives you more XP per kill. So yeah guys, that's going to effectively wrap up the class setup portion of today's video. I hope you went on to enjoy it, and if you did, do not forget to leave a like on it down below, as well as subscribe and turn on post notifications, so that way you guys will not miss any of the latest and greatest Call of Duty news, class setups, and all kinds of things like that. Also, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in this video, before I end off this video overall, I'm going to be showcasing footage of me unlocking gold camo on the M1928 Thompson. So I hope you guys go on to enjoy that. Thank you once again for watching. I'm your host, Uncle. I hope to see you in the next one. And alright, so hello everyone, and of course right now I'm going to be unlocking gold camo on the M1928 Thompson, which is honestly a really good submachine gun in this game. It's without a doubt one of my favorite weapons, and it's also very good. So with that in mind, I thought it is appropriate that this is actually going to be my first gun that I am going to be unlocking gold camo on. And it kind of reminds me back of Modern Warfare, because the MP7 was the first gun that I unlocked gold back in that game. And yeah, with all that in mind, as you guys can see, all the challenges are done except for one, and that's Blood Splatter, where I need to get 100 ADS kills with the .45 ACP 30 round fast magazine, the Chariot Marksman stock, and the steady aim proficiency. And I have 94 out of 100 of those kills. So once I get those 6 kills, I'm then of course going to be getting gold. I'm really excited to get this done. So luckily enough, DOS House 24/7 playlist is live, so I'm going to be hopping in there, getting the 6 kills, and we are going to be unlocking gold camo. Alright, so we got the class setup over here. I actually have 2 different Thompson class setups. One of them was the one that I was using to get like the point blank kills, and whenever I was just, you know, generally using the Thompson. Then you got this class setup over here, which I must say, the camo challenges in this game are pretty interesting. I kind of like it, where some challenges are literally just use the weapon with certain attachments on, which is something I find pretty interesting. But hey, I'll definitely take that over like getting mounted kills or, you know, something weird like that. And okay, so I have 3 kills down. That means I just need 3 more. Alright, that's 4. I only need 2 more. Now, I would like to actually save my last kill so I can see, you know, gold camo popping up on my screen. And let me just say, DOS House 24/7, it's really good, but there's a lot of people running around with combat shotguns, which can make it a little bit annoying. Okay, let's see. Challenge complete. Or challenge completed. Challenge complete. Gold camo, let's go! That's my first ever gold gun in this game. That's awesome. And okay, I'm going to be finishing out this particular match. Yeah, I feel pretty accomplished. Because that's the thing, right at the start, I wasn't sure what gun I was going to be going for. I was thinking about doing the STG, but my camo challenges were not tracking. And I didn't want to use the MP40 because everyone was using that gun. So I think it was like the second day of Vanguard where I'm like, yeah, I want a gold gun. And I started using the Thompson. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start grinding camo challenges, and then here we are. And I think now I'm definitely going to be going for diamond SMGs. I mean, the challenges aren't that hard, and the SMGs in this game are absolutely incredible, so... yeah, overall it makes the most sense. And we're actually going to be getting shipment in about 2 weeks, or maybe even next week if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's November 18th, which is 10 days away, so just over a week and a half. And alright, so that game is over, and let's go ahead and see what gold camo looks like. So, gotta go over to customize. And there it is. That's gold camo. Okay, that looks really cool. I'm definitely going to be checking out in game. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.